This was after the divorce was filed. We were no contact. But
So after that order of protection had been entered, after the divorce had been filed, you had no contact with her about the adoption?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. She didn't tell you she was about to place the child up for adoption? She didn't tell you that she was signing a termination of her parental rights?
I had no idea any of those things were happening. I was in the dark as to
And you only
any
found out that it
information.
occurred after you'd been served with that
Yes,
petition,
sir.
is that correct?
I had suspected, that she was considering that, but I had no idea.
And so it's been represented to the court that you have been convicted of domestic assault. Now, let's go back. You had described earlier an incident in September. Is that the incident you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what plea did you enter? Do you
Well,
recall?
I don't recall the name of the plea, but I do recall that the attorney advised me that when after the judge read the plea off and I agreed to it, that to be sure that I say not guilty within that I'm not guilty of this. I don't remember the name of it, but it was when the judge said, "How do you plea?" It was very clear that my attorney made it to me to say the word, "You plead not guilty."
If the court records reflect you entered into a no contest plea to a simple assault and a violation of an order of protection, does that sound accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were, as a result of that, you were placed on probation for a year, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you currently still on probation?
Yes, sir.
Have you had any issues with probation?
No, sir.
Have you failed
not.
to report to probation?
No, sir. I
Have you had
not.
any probation violations filed against you?
No, sir. I
Have you
not.
failed any drug screens administered by probation?
No, sir. I have not.
Have you paid your probation fees and court costs?
Yes, sir. I have.
And so as we sit here today, there are no violations of your probation, correct?
That is correct.
Have you been charged with any new criminal offenses?
No, sir.
And why did you enter into a no contest plea instead of going to trial?
Well, number one, I was not guilty of the charges, and my attorney advised me that was the best thing I could do.
What do you want the court to understand about how you've responded to everything that's happened over the last year in your life?
Wow. I'd like the court to know that on September the 21st, my entire world was taken away from me based on a false allegation. My entire world was destroyed. I was in love with my family. I was not a perfect person. I showed up for my family every day, 6 o'clock without fail. I was in that house with that family every day, trying to love on them. 7 o'clock every morning, I went to work and I come home. And on September the 21st, I was hit with, I was destroyed, devastated, and appalled that these allegations were made about me by my wife, whom I loved. And I didn't know that there was many other men involved in this until the judge affirmed the order of protection. When that day happened, I was even more utterly destroyed because an affirmation had been made about something that I was in no way guilty of. And so I went through several weeks of very dark spell at that time. And in that time, I had to sit down and learn all the things about what had happened, who was all involved. And so for the following month, it was revealed to me through looking through it, looking at everything closer. I wasn't looking close in our relationship. I wasn't paying attention during our relationship. Maybe I was in a fog or something, but when I started paying attention and checking my game cameras at home that I had throughout the woods and in the driveway, and I found out what was truly going on.
And so were there things, you had mentioned earlier, you had a very close relationship with Scarlett. You treated Scarlett as your own. And ultimately, you ended up questioning whether you were Scarlett's biological father. Were there things that made you question after the fact if you were Scarlett's biological father?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
and what were those things that you had discovered?
Those things were the text messages that I had found in my phone that my wife had made with my son. The messages I had sent to my wife in reference to her having relations with my two sons, 21 and 22-year-old, and also their friend Nathan, who's about 22 years old. And so when I received text message confirmation from her, when I sent her a message asking her about this, her response was yeah, it happened. And so
Let me
looking,
make sure I'm understanding you. Are you saying that your wife, Ms. Thomas, has confirmed to you that she had sexual relations with your two adult sons and a friend of theirs?
that is correct, sir.
You have proof of that?
I have it in a text message in my phone in my car.
Did she explicitly affirm that she had sexual relations with them, or did she just not deny it, Mr. Thomas?
She did not deny it. She made a response to a message. I said in the message, so you've basically been sleeping around with my sons, and her response was, you've been sleeping around with my band or my sons, and her response was, they were your sons first, or they were your band first. That's the exact context.
But she never made any explicit admission that that was the case, correct?
To me, that's pretty explicit. She was explicitly said, yeah, it just in a different way, she confirmed it. That's one. There are other confirmations as well, and pictures and things that I have.
And so if the court were to award you temporary custody or any form of parenting time with Scarlett today, are you willing to co-parent with Mrs. Thomas?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. And what is your position on keeping the two children together as siblings?
That is my goal, that these two girls are raised together and that they know each other throughout the entirety of their life.
Okay. And are you willing to participate in anything this court asks you to do to have visitation with your child right now, with Scarlett right now, to be determined with baby Thomas? Or are you willing to jump through any hoop that this court has? Are you willing to have supervised visits starting out? Are you willing to do anything to have parenting time with your children?
The door is closed currently, sir. I have no children at all. My life was built around my sons, my children. All that was taken from me in this divorce. So to answer your question, yes, I'm willing to do anything.
And why is it that you want custody of your children?
My children are why I get up and go to work every day. They're the reason that I function. My children are the reason that I live, and my reason to live was taken away from me with this, all of my sons, my baby girls, all of that, so I've lost I had to find a new reason to live because my children were taken from me.
And why do you feel that Scarlett is subject to an immediate threat of irreparable harm while in Ms. Thomas's care?
I've learned that Ms. Thomas has so the things that occurred with my boys, they occurred with other people, other men, and it's hard for me to even think about. I keep all this back here, but all of those things were occurring.
Well, specifically, she didn't consult with you about the adoption before Blaze. I'll rephrase.
I'm sorry.
The focus shifts directly to Scarlett. Thomas describes being deeply involved in her daily care before the separation.
Sorry.
Leading. He's good.
Sustained, don't lead the witness.
I believe you previously testified. Is it true you previously testified that she did not consult you before giving baby Thomas up for adoption?
That is true.
Okay. And are you in fear? Does that create any kind of fear for you due to or with respect to her parenting responsibilities of Scarlett?
Absolute.
Why?
Because that family that she sent our child to live with, we know nothing about those people. They've had our child now for several months, and we don't know anything about them.
You've never met them,
I've never met them.
you don't know them.
Don't know them, not allowed to contact them, not allowed to inquire who they are, anything about them. Moreover, Ms. Thomas was seeking to aggressively release this child into somebody's care. She was not looking to aggressively research their background, find out who they are.
And you are currently under a temporary support order by this court.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how much a month do you pay to Ms. Thomas?
$1,500 a month.
Okay. Is that just the support order, or does that include everything you pay on her behalf?
So I also currently pay for a 2024 Ford Expedition payment.
How much is that a month?
That payment is over $1,300 a month, less than 14. And the insurance on that vehicle is about probably $300 a month.
And you filed a copy of your income and expense statement with the court yesterday, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm going to pass you up, Judge, permission to pass this copy. Now, you are paid a salary by your company, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, and how much are you paid? Is that a true and accurate reflection of your income and expenses?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so you are operating at a deficit of $701.08, and that is before the spousal support payment is paid, before the car insurance is paid, and before the car payment is paid. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so are you having to rely on your savings or your business's savings to pay those things? How are you paying, how are you affording to pay for those things?
Sure, it's with my savings account.
Okay, and what was the balance of your savings account at the time this proceeding started?
So my savings account is, it's been around $50,000,
Okay, and what's the balance of it now?
probably 40,000.
And so are you asking the court to reduce the temporary support payment?
I am asking the court to please reduce this support payment.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And there was a previous hearing that was held. You had different counsel at the time, but is it your claim you did not have notice of that temporary support hearing?
That is correct. I
Okay.
did not know
So to
that.
your understanding, the court didn't hear any testimony from you or any proof from you regarding your ability to pay any type of temporary support?
That's correct.
Okay. And so what are you able to provide any type of temporary support to Ms. Thomas?
Yes, sir. I am able to provide temporary support. I prefer to call it child support, as she has Scarlett, but whatever we want to call
And
it.
just to be clear, that order classified it as temporary support and child support. So is there an
Oh,
amount
did
that
it?
you can afford to pay, Ms. Thomas? And what would that amount be?
You know, honestly, I probably should have thought about that before I answer that question. I know what I make, and I would request that whatever the state guidelines are, based on what I make, I would feel comfortable paying that.
No further questions, Judge.
Kirby, you may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, Mr. Thomas.
Good morning, sir.
My name's Anthony Kirby. I represent your spouse, Miss Rachel Thomas, okay?
Good to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you. I've got just a few things to question you about. I'm going to start
Hold on a
on the,
Was that made an exhibit, his income and expense statement? Let's make that the next exhibit in order.
for the record, Your Honor, no objection.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. One of these times I'll get around to asking you about it before.
You're perfectly fine, Your Honor. I was in a trial, two-day hearing the other day, and a counsel forgot my entire name while they were doing closing arguments, so I'm used to it at this point. Ms. Thomas, I got a couple questions for you, okay? So I'm looking at your income and expense affidavit, and I apologize, I was trying to write down things, but I did not get this down. What is your salary that you get paid?
So I get a paycheck every week of about $800.
Okay. And so extrapolating that out, what is your salary per year?
Here, let me give him back his income and expense statement then, if he's going to be questioned.
Yeah.
Did you say that there was a copy of that in the file?
There's,
Yeah, Here, let me take this apart again. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And so if you get paid $800, is it fair enough to say that you're paying yourself through the business approximately $41,000 to $42,000 a year?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. And this is a business you own, right?
It is.
Sole proprietorship?
No, it's an S corp.
S Corp?
Yes, sir.
Are you set up as the sole managing member of the S Corp?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so in terms of who gets to pay who, you get to make that decision top to bottom, right?
Yes,
You don't run anything else past anyone else as far as your income is concerned, correct?
that's correct.
Okay, and I see on your income and expense statement that it says your business pays telephone, car payment, and car insurance. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you use, like most people do that have a corporation or any sort of business, you use your business profits to be able to pay some of the things for your personal life that you get to use on a daily basis too, right?
Absolutely not.
No?
No.
Who pays for your car?
So my car, so my personal life, I have a motorcycle that I drive. I have other vehicles. This particular car that you're talking about is my work vehicles.
Okay, so do you owe anything on any of your other vehicles?
So I owe money on the vehicle that Rachel drives.
Okay, what about any of the other vehicles that you had? You said you had multiple vehicles in your possession.
That's right. That's what I owe. My motorcycle is paid off and I owe what Rachel is driving.
What other vehicles do you have?
I have a 25 Mustang.
And you bought that right after y'all separated, right?
That's correct.
And you actually paid cash for that?
I did.
Okay, so
No, stop. I did not pay cash for that. That's finance. I'm sorry.
that's finance,
It
but
is
it's paid off
financed.
at this point, right?
No, it's not paid off.
You got money owed on that?
Yes, I do.
Who's paying for that? Your business, right?
I pay for that.
You pay for that
Yes,
through your business?
that's right.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting to, right?
Okay.
You pay for your stuff through your business, right?
This is a work vehicle.
It's your 2025 Mustang for a granite company is a work vehicle.
Absolutely.
You can haul granite on your 2025
I
Mustang?
drive that car to every measurement job, to every meeting, to work and back every day. This
Understood.
car does not sit in my driveway and I don't take it to car meets. I drive it to work. I drive it all around to measure jobs every day.
Understood. And so as far as that car is concerned, you're actually adding on to that vehicle as well, right? You've bought a bunch of parts for it to add on to it, make it faster, make it more cool, right?
No,
No?
I'm not. Let me see. I did put a new muffler on it. Yes,
Okay.
you're right.
Did the business pay for that too?
It did.
Was that necessary for your business, or that's just something you wanted to put on the
It's
vehicle?
regardless. That's not a question that, whether it's necessary for business or not. Whenever I purchase a saw for my granite company, I'm allowed to purchase blades for that saw that increase its productivity.
Understood. Let's talk about your business account then. How
Sure.
much do you have in your business account?
Currently around $100,000.
Okay, so you get to pay through your business account anything that you deem necessary for your life that you think benefits your business, right?
If it's business related, yes,
And you say that you had $100,000 in there right now, right?
that's correct.
Okay. Previously, you had a lot more than that, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to pass up a document to you.
Sure.
You recognize this statement, right?
Yeah, the one that was stolen from my vehicle when she stole my truck, yes.
Get to that in a minute, I guess, then. When it comes to this is the business account for the Clarksville Granite Inc., right?
Looks like that's what this is, yes.
And just to make sure, during y'all's relationship, marriage, after the,
Thomas turns his attention toward the adoption and argues that being excluded from that process raises concerns about Rachel's judgment.
after the separation, my client has no access to any of these funds, right?
No,
Okay. And at that point in time, you had, this shows $252,101.50 in your business account, right?
that's correct.
Okay. And that was right before y'all's separation statement ending July 31st, 2025.
That's correct.
Okay. Make that the next exhibit, if I may, Your Honor.
Exhibit 3.
So you have $40,000 in your savings right now, personal savings.
Yes, sir.
You, by your testimony here, have a little over $100,000 in your business account.
That's correct.
And at some point within the past year, essentially, you had over $250,000 in your business account, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you can't afford to pay $1,500 a month?
That's correct. I cannot
Cannot afford it.
afford it.
Okay. If I do $100,000 divided by 15, that's 66 months at that point, right? Does that sound about right?
Please explain a little closer. I'm trying to follow where you're going with this.
You have $140,000 to your disposal,
Okay.
correct?
That's right.
Okay. And that's not including anything for your checking account. What do you have in your checking account?
Maybe $5,000.
Okay, so we'll discount that for argument of this, okay?
Okay.
So you've got $140,000 at your disposal as we sit here today. If you had no other money go into your business account, you could pay $1,500 for the next 93 months. That seem about right?
No, it does not, because I have business expenses that by far exceed any of that revolve every single week. The $250,000 that you mentioned, there was a employee cost every week of about $9,000, so 9, 18, 24, 36. You're looking at a $40,000 revolving fee on top of granite, materials, gas. $60,000, $70,000 a month is where this, when we were together, that's how it was revolving, and this was an S Corp account. When I lived with her, all of our expenses were also paid from my savings account, not from this business. The entire time that I lived with Ms. Thomas, I was given a paycheck from my business. That has not changed.
Pass you up another document as well. You recognize these statements?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, these are statements that were being deposited into your business account, correct?
Yes, sir.
On one of them was $45,437.38, right?
That's correct.
One of them was $2,270.61, right?
That's correct.
And one of them was $16,458.23, right?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, and these aren't all of the things that you're making. These are just showing that you get significant amounts of money paid to your business that you get to continue to deposit into that $100,000 account that you get to use, correct?
Significant amount of money come out of that account. You're only addressing what's going in.
Make that the next collective exhibit, if I may, Your Honor. You and my client have or maybe had a joint account. I don't know if it's still open or not. Is that a correct statement?
It is.
Okay. And did you move a bunch of money out of that account?
Over the past year, I've moved money through that account, in and out of it the entire time. Yes, sir.
Okay. At one point, did you leave 53 cents in that account after a month?
It's very possible. Yes, sir.
This was right before y'all's separation, right?
I'm sure I drained that account once I found out everything that was going on. Yes,
So
absolutely.
you took it upon yourself, you made a unilateral decision to go ahead and drain that account, right?
How much money was in there when I drained it? Because we only kept like maybe $1,000 in this account revolving at all times.
Well, you, essentially, this was the only account in which my client had any access to funds, correct?
Okay.
Is that correct?
So she stole money also.
Well, this isn't my question, sir.
Right.
I'm going to ask the questions. You can answer the
Sure.
questions. Y'all had a joint account, correct?
Yes, we did.
My client had access to the joint account to use funds to purchase things throughout the day, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. She did not have access to your savings account that has $40,000 in it, correct?
She had her own bank account also,
did.
apart from this account also.
She did not have access to the $5,000 in your checking account, correct?
But that account is this account.
And she
Right.
didn't have so now you've built this back up to 5,000 is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
And she didn't have access to the $252,000 that was in your business account, right?
Did she have access to it? Let me think about that answer for a moment, please.
I think you've already said that she didn't.
No, she's had well, here's something I forgot, okay? I have noticed that she maybe she didn't have access to this, but she gained access to it several times, and we'll get into that later.
Okay. As far as this, though, it's your testimony that this typically had $1,000 to $2,000 in it at that point,
Which account are you referring to?
the one that I just passed up for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's about
And
right.
now it's at about $5,000, correct? Okay.
That's correct.
And my client doesn't have access to that account as we sit here today. Is that a fair enough statement?
That's correct.
Okay. Because you removed her from that account, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And when you find out that there was things going on based on your statements and your testimony here today, you drained this account and left with 53 cents in that account, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Made that the next exhibit if I may, Your Honor. My client was essentially solely reliant on you for income during y'all's marriage and relationship, right?
That is not true.
No? You were the primary breadwinner for the home. That's got to be true, right?
I was with her for 1 year. She had child support from 2 other men.
Okay, so she had child support from 2 other men at that point, for children that she still has in her care and custody, right?
That's correct. That
Okay.
she never used. She stored it away in a secret account somewhere nobody knew about, nobody cared.
Okay. And so in terms of money that was coming into the home, you were the one providing money coming into the home for the 2 of you, right?
For the year and few months that we were together, we knew each other, yes, sir.
Okay. And you want the court to now say that you shouldn't have to pay her the $1,500, you shouldn't have to pay for her insurance, you shouldn't have to pay for her vehicle. You should just calculate out whatever's on the child support worksheet based on the $800 a month you've decided to give yourself unilaterally through your business, right?
That's exactly right, yes, sir.
Okay.
Not $800 a month.
$800 a week, I apologize, that was
That's
my
right.
bad, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. $800 a week,
Yes, sir.
okay. Another point of this, you really just don't like my client, right?
I love her and I have forgiven her. There's no don't like about it. I was in love with her and my pastor has taught me to forgive her and I still love her
When was that forgiveness taking place?
over the past several months.
Okay, so when you paid your $1,500 for support on July 1st and you put into the memo line that you were paying her for telling lies and stealing, was that forgiveness?
I don't know what that was.
You did that though, right?
That's what she did, so that's what it was for.
But that's forgiveness in your book, right?
I have forgiven her.
Okay. And in terms of the aspect of this hearing that happened previously, right? Let's go through that for just a moment. You were duly represented at that point. You had counsel.
What hearing are we referring to, sir?
When the current support was ordered, you had counsel at that point, correct?
At that hearing, my counsel had submitted his documentation to be removed as counsel. So that's when her counsel stepped in and had this support hearing made. I
And
was
so
not
it's-
aware that I needed to be present at that. I was not told I needed to go. I knew my attorney was removing himself. I was not prepared to argue that, so I didn't go to that hearing because of that reason.
And you just decided not to go, but you knew that the motion was on the docket, right?
I knew my attorney was removing himself from my case.
And you knew that the motion for support was on the docket
No,
as well.
absolutely not.
Well, you just
I-
said that you weren't
I did
prepared
not
to.
know that hearing was that subject matter was being heard. All I knew, as God is my witness, is that my attorney was removing himself from my case.
Let me.
while Thomas maintains that simply showing incoming revenue ignores the massive expenses required to keep his company operating.
And if your attorney came into this court and represented that he had spoken to you and informed you of that motion, he would be lying to the court?
Absolutely, sir.
As an officer of the court, you're
No,
saying
no,
that
he
he's
told me
lying to
about
the court?
the motion to remove him from my case. He did, and in fact, we never spoke about that. I got an email that said that on this date, I read the motion. It said he was removing himself on this date. And in my mind, I thought, okay, he's removing himself from the case. I'm not arguing that. It doesn't say here, Michael, you need to be here on this date. I just seen I never even received a subpoena for the date. I just seen the motion is what he emailed me. So it didn't click in my little simple mind that I needed to be in court that day. I wasn't arguing it. You know, I knew I had to find another attorney is what my little mind thought.
Understood. Let's go with your other motion then for just a moment, okay? As far as this emergency motion that you filed. First off, you had told multiple people that these children weren't your children, right?
I've never told anybody that. I said there was a question after I found out about some things.
Some things that you inferred through my client's response based on your testimony. There was never any sort of admittance to anything on that side of things, correct?
She has admitted to it. My sons have admitted to it, yes.
Okay, your sons aren't here today, right?
That's correct.
And you haven't presented any sort of actual proof that she's admitted to it, right?
I was not advised that that was something I needed to prepare today.
So that was something, you had issues with your previous counsel, now you've got issues with this counsel, not advising you of certain things.
I
That's
have
your
no
testimony?
issues with my counsel.
Okay.
We were here to address something different today. We weren't here to address those ugly things. We're here to try to help me gain a little time with my children.
And that's what you're asking for at this point, right, is a little time with your children?
I'm asking for full custody of my children.
Well, that's far different than a little time with your child. So
Well,
which one is it?
Pardon me for misspeaking. It's full custody is what I'm asking for. And to be honest, the best word is anything,
Well, that's again also far different than full custody.
right? Because right now I have nothing, sir.
Okay. And you've got nothing because there was an order of protection that was taken out, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were served with that order of protection.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't show up to that order of protection, did you?
I'm sorry. I believe I attended all court dates.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay. And there was a
Believe I did.
hearing after that.
I'm not aware of a hearing that I missed, sir.
But the order of protection was put in place, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and there was an agreed order at some point put in through this court saying that my client could go to an undisclosed location based on the domestic violence that had occurred within y'all's marriage, right?
Based on the alleged domestic violence. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were arrested for domestic violence, correct?
I think they arrested me for something else. It was violation of the order is what I was arrested. I was never arrested for domestic violence.
You've been arrested for aggravated assault many times in your past, though, right?
Not that I recall, sir.
You've been found guilty of aggravated assault as a felony previously, right?
Not that I recall, sir. I don't remember that.
Hold on just a second. I'm sorry. Well, he can only be cross-examined about what he may have been convicted of, not what he's been charged with, because that's the rule of evidence is that you can cross-examine a witness regarding a prior conviction of a felony if that, or a misdemeanor involving moral turpitude. So sustain the objection as to the form of the question at this point.
I'll rephrase at this point. You were previously convicted and put on probation in Georgia, right?
13 years ago.
Okay.
And if it's over 10 years, it's not admissible anyway.
I'll move past. You were previously, do you still have a pending criminal charge for aggravated assault in, I believe it was South Carolina?
Absolutely not.
You were arrested on that though, right? When was that taken care of?
So that was taken care of 2 months ago, and the district attorney in that case called me.
I'm not going to ask you what the district attorney says. You can't testify to what anyone else says.
Okay.
Do you have anything here with you today that says that that was dismissed or taken care of in some way?
No,
Okay. And as far as your emergency motion that you
that
filed,
was over 10 years, by the way. Also.
you don't have anything in terms of, the charge wasn't over 10 years ago, you just got arrested on it recently.
Yes,
but
it was. It was over 10 years, sir.
It just got resolved here recently, though, right?
Right. It was
By your
thrown-
testimony?
It was thrown out.
Okay. As far as the aspect of what you're asking for here, your motion deals entirely with who we've been referring to as baby girl Thomas and this adoption aspect of things, correct?
Can you repeat the question?
Your motion deals entirely with who we've been calling baby girl Thomas and the adoption aspects of
What
things, correct?
motion are you referring to? Because there's many of them here.
Sustained.
You filed a motion for emergency custody, emergency return of the minor children, right?
Yes, I believe
And that
we
was
have.
based on the fact that you found out that there's an adoption that's pending in Colorado as it relates to baby girl Thomas, correct?
So I filed the motion for custody of that child when I was presented with legal documentation that said she had signed away her rights to that child, and this new family was asking me to sign away my rights. It was at that moment that I found out, because I've been in the dark, that my child was in another state. It was at that moment that I learned I have to take legal action right now. So to answer your question, yes, sir, that's whenever I filed the motion.
Okay. And then as far as Scarlett is concerned, you have absolutely no claim that Scarlett is being mistreated in any way, correct?
I have no claim because I've had no contact. I don't know. I do know the life that was lived when she was here. And
Okay. And just to be clear, you haven't presented anything as far as photographs or videos or text messages to corroborate anything that you've testified to about these alleged affairs that seem to be the brunt of your concern with mother, right? None of that's been introduced today.
it has not, no, sir.
Okay. And so as it relates to Scarlett, what's Scarlett's date of birth?
Scarlett?
Yes.
Scarlett was born on March 17th, 2024.
2024?
2025, I'm sorry.
Okay. And so at this point, y'all have been separated since September of 2025, right?
Yes,
And so this child, it's fair to say, doesn't know you. Is that a fair enough statement?
that's not fair at all. I spent every day with that baby for the first 6.5, 7 months of her life. And I don't know about you, but for 7 months that you spend with somebody, would you say
You
in
can't
5
ask
months?
him questions, Mr.
Sorry, sir.
Thomas, you just answer his, please.
Okay, sorry, I apologize.
During that period of time where the child was in your home, did you have issues of anger?
No, sir.
You didn't yell, you didn't cuss at other people in the home or other children in the home?
I'm sure at times I raised my voice, yes, sir.
You raised your voice at times, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever go so far that you ripped apart an oven so that it was not useful?
I don't recall ripping apart an oven that was, no, I know that I did not. So to answer your question, no.
I'm going to play a video, if I may, Your Honor, and a best way to do this that I know of would be to play it and stand over here. Or,
You can play it through the network if you got to plug it in. We've got bailiffs here who are fairly adept at that. We have a USB cord there on the,
I can log into the video and share my screen on the video.
whatever you want to do. If you're going to show him, I assume you want me to see it at some point too.
Yes.
Then you show him and then you can show me, whatever you want to do. I don't care. We're approaching the noon hour and we'll be adjourning for lunch, or recessing for lunch. So what I would say is let's get as much ground covered as we can, so.
And yes, Your Honor, and I've got a final hearing in Montgomery County that's been pushed to 1 o'clock at this point, so I've got that issue as well. So Let me try to play this for him, and then I'll play it for you, because that'll be the quickest way of doing it. It's a short video.
The judge digs deeper into the marriage itself, how Thomas and Rachel met, how briefly they were married, her employment situation.
For the record, I have shown this video to opposing counsel.
Oh.
I approached to,
Well, let me ask you a question. If you are supposed to be at a final hearing at 1 o'clock, exactly, we're not going to be finished with this hearing at that point.
I would hope we would be. I'm almost done with this. I guess we're not going to be, but we're calling other witnesses.
Well, I was expecting that it would be more than just Mr. Thomas. All right, go forward with this. We'll deal with that.
I would make an objection to this video. I don't think my client's present in the video. You can see
What is the video of
the
Mr.
video that has a foundation has been filed.
What is the video of Mr. Kirby?
Video is of Mr. Thomas, and you can clearly see, not see, but you can clearly hear his voice as far as what is being said through that. It is a early morning in which he is, I'm going to say, belligerent, talking to other children within the home. This would have been after the birth of the Scarlett. The video was taken by my client, but I believe that he can easily testify and identify his own voice.
Show him the video and he'll be asked if whether or not he can authenticate it. If he cannot authenticate it, then it cannot be introduced.
I'll play it through my client at that point. May I stand over here? I'll stop it there for. Ms. Thomas, did you hear that video? The part that I played?
I heard the video, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Is that your voice in the background?
That could be my son. We sound exactly alike.
It could be your son.
Yes, sir. His name
Okay.
is Dalton Thomas.
Okay. So you think that it could be your son. Do you recall this exchange in any way?
I do not.
You don't recall the exchange in
No,
any
sir.
way? Okay. I'll just play it through my client. As we sit here today, you have no proof saying that Scarlett is not being well taken care of in mother's home, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, you have no proof saying that she's not being able to provide for that child in terms of food and clothing and everything else, correct?
Correct.
And you haven't seen your child in a year, correct?
That's correct.
And are you asking this court to simply take that child away from mother at this time and place that child with you moving forward?
Yes, sir.
And you think that's in the child's best interest?
Yes, sir, I do.
Even though that child hasn't been with you for over a year and all of the things that have been going on here?
I think that is in the child's best interest. Yes, sir.
Okay, even though you agreed previously that she'd be able to relocate knowing she was pregnant at that point, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Nothing further right now, Your Honor.
I have a couple of questions. Mr. Kirby just asked you if you agreed to her relocating. I don't know that there's an order in the file here. I haven't been able to find it. Where did you agree to her relocating?
I was not exactly informed that I recall, sir, of where she was going. Just out of state is how it was labeled in the paperwork that was presented to me.
All right. When you and she married, if I understand correctly, you were married less than a year at the time she separated from you or she left. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
During that time, did she work outside the home at all?
She never worked. No, sir.
All right. How did you and she meet?
She came into my business looking for countertops.
All right. And she lived here in this area at that time?
Yes, sir. She owned a house in Clarksville.
And when she came into your business looking for countertops, you and she met, obviously, and then you started dating, and then you married, and you were together for a year before you separated, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's been a year since your separation.
Yes, sir.
Roughly.
September we separated.
September, it'll be a year this September.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, are you living alone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we're talking about Scarlett. Scarlett is a child of how old? 1 year old?
Yes, sir.
So I have some experience with one-year-old children and grandchildren. Exactly how are you proposing to, I see the pictures of your home and it looks fine. How are you prepared to care for Scarlett if she were to come and stay with you?
Sure, I have a friend who is here to testify today that would testify to her ability to help me care for Scarlett.
This is a female friend that you have?
Yes, sir.
And is that somebody you're involved with as a person, as
No,
more than
sir.
a friend?
We are not more than friends, no,
All
sir.
right. And so you have someone lined up that would be able to help you if Scarlett were to come here?
Yes, sir, and have actually many. I have a church family who would also be more than willing to help me take care of Scarlett. Roberta is here. Her name is Roberta. She's here today to testify to her willingness to help me. And yes, sir.
And how many children does Mrs. Thomas have?
Currently, she has Connor, which is her 4-year-old. She has Dominic, her 13 to 14-year-old. She has Bria, her 15, about to be 16-year-old. So she has 3, and she has Scarlett, our child, together. So currently, she has 4 children living with her.
The youngest child that we're talking about that's an adoption, or has been put up for adoption by Ms. Thomas, that would be her 5th child?
Yes, sir.
Right. And how many children do you have?
I have 5 children that have grown up and moved out of the home, and they're out in the world doing their thing these days.
2 of those were your sons that work with you?
Yes, sir.
And those are the 2 sons that you're basically accusing of having a sexual relationship with your wife?
Yes, sir.
And how old are they?
The boys are 21 and 22 now, I think.
And I don't want you to tell me what it is, but you're saying you have some proof that that is in fact what has occurred?
Yes, sir. I have more than some proof. Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions based on what I've asked you? Thank you. Step down. Step down. Gentlemen, Mr. Kirby, you have this final hearing. Who is that in front of?
This was set first, and I informed Chancellor Dean and opposing counsel there that I needed to come here to deal with this situation. But that was set on Chancellor Dean's docket for today because that is it's a final evidentiary hearing that's dealing with where is a child going to go to school starting up essentially next week, which is why he set it on that docket for then. Mr. Daniel Bryant's been nice enough to accommodate me this morning. He's the opposing counsel on that.
We'd like to be heard today. Obviously, Judge, we've got witnesses here. Our last 3 witnesses, if the court needs to hear from them, are purely character witnesses, a pastor, support system, friends that have known Mr. Thomas for 7 years. And I'm not sure if the court needs that proof today, but they're here to say what kind of person he is. They've observed him at work. They've observed him.
Thomas's attorney points to character witnesses prepared to defend his reputation against Rachel's allegations. But the judge signals something
They've
bigger.
observed him. You know, the defendant in this case has alleged that Mr. Thomas is on drugs, has alleged Mr. Thomas is abusive, and he's got a slew of character witnesses here today to testify. They've known him for a long time and have never observed anything like that. They've never observed him lose his temper at work. They've never observed him be on drugs. They've observed him to be an upstanding member of the community. I'm not sure if the court needs to hear from them. Mr. Kirby plans to call his client. I would have a pretty brief, I think.
I think
But we're asking to go forward today.
I think it would
What
be.
do you have tomorrow? We don't have anything now. What do you have tomorrow morning?
Let me grab my calendar here. I have one motion that I can have covered, and the rest are consults that I'll move.
I could be back tomorrow morning.
9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll resume this. I want to make sure everybody understands. I have to leave to go to a dental appointment in Franklin. I've got a crown that keeps coming off, and unless you want to have me proceed with a snaggletooth look, then I got to leave here a little before 2. So I would think that tomorrow morning in the 3 or 4 hours, we could conclude this matter. Both of you need to address the issue. Mr. Thomas, regardless of whether your client thinks he's a good husband or a bad husband or whatever, and I understand your arguments about the alleged violence, he has a right to see his daughter, Scarlett, and that's all we're dealing with. So I want to be able to address under what circumstances each of you proposes that happen. As far as the immediate return of the child to the state of Tennessee, that's equivalent to, unless she moves back here, it's equivalent to granting him temporary custody, and that's a kind of a tall order considering where we are with everything. But I want to know what both of you propose for at least some sort of temporary visitation with him. He has the right to see his daughter, but it has been a year or so since he's seen this child, and the child of that age is going to be some adjustment that's going to be required. Normally, if they were living here together, I would be putting down an order of a graduated type of visitation. That doesn't appear to me not necessarily to be the case. In addition to that, we've got to work around this order of protection and whatever. So we're going to be looking at exchanges of the child, assuming that there is a visitation, exchanges of the child through third-party mediation or mediaries, so that there's no direct contact. The last thing I want is for Mr. Thomas to be in violation of his order of protection. When does that expire? Or when is it?
It's on appeal. So
Okay.
the previous council had reserved it for final hearing in this court. So
I think technically, and this is not what I'm necessarily suggesting, but I do think technically the court could amend the order of protection at this time because the fact that it is, I don't know that it's, since it's on appeal, I'm not really sure about that.
If it's been more than a year since it was issued, even if it was on appeal, it's expired. I'll deal with it.
No, it's not been more than a year.
All right, then here's what I'm suggesting. We'll start at 9 o'clock. Both of you just keep in mind what my problem is. I want him to see this child. I want him to have contact with this child, and I want to protect the child from being traumatized by being around somebody that she may not be familiar with. But we've got to move in that direction, because unless there's some proof that he is unfit at all to have any custody or visitation with the child, he's going to get to see this child. So, and it may be graduated moving forward. One option is we just have the child brought back here and stay with him for a month, and then go back to the mom and stay for a month or a week at a time, something like that. I can then say that for the purposes of giving you an understanding that I take seriously his right to see the child, even if there are these issues that occur between them.
thank you, Judge.
So be prepared to address that tomorrow.
Understood.
All right, we'll deal with the economic issues as well, and obviously I'll need to hear from her regarding her economic situation as well. So the court is going to be considering the fact that the obligation that Mr. Thomas has is for the support of his child, and that will be based on the child support guidelines. His support for her is based on whether or not there's an alimony or spousal support issue. That, as you all know, goes to the factors that are set forth in the statute, which include the length of the marriage that the parties have. We've got a 1-year marriage, so keep that in mind when we talk about tomorrow. All right, I will see you all at 9 o'clock. She will need a Zoom link. Let me look and see if I can just give one right quick. That will work. I need to change it. See, here, I was supposed to be in Cheatham County, so my Zoom link was for Cheatham County. That's why it's showing up as Cheatham County. Tomorrow, I was supposed to hear a Humphreys County case, but we'll do that with the same Zoom link. Give them that Zoom link. So.
We're still coming here, though, correct?
You are coming here.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't drive to Humphreys
No,
County when I would
no.
need to be in Dixon.
All right, hold on. I'm going to change, that's for 30, so I'm going to edit that so that it'll show what it's actually supposed to be.
And I apologize about the scheduling of today, Your Honor. This got put on my calendar.
You tell Chancellor Dean that I am deferring to him only because I like him and I like him and that he's a fan of our YouTube channel, so he might learn something, so.
I will make sure to start off my opening that way because maybe it'll get me some brownie points.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Ms. Thomas, I've got the other hearing, but I will call you when I get done with that because I'm going to go straight into that hearing, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Did I? Okay. I'll still try to remember just in case it falls out. I always love being organized at the beginning of a hearing and then completely destroying a file in about 2.5 seconds as you get stuff out. Yeah. And if the court wants to send me that Zoom link, which I think is what Ms. Turner did this morning, I can forward that to my client. She should have my email.
And this is the turning point. The judge makes clear Thomas is likely getting some path towards seeing Scarlett unless evidence proves him unfit. Graduated parenting time becomes a serious possibility, while custody and financial issues remain waiting for further testimony.